Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're trying out a new foundation that I have had sitting on my desk here in my beauty room, dying to try, and I figured if I'm this intrigued about this new foundation, somebody else has to be, so I figured I would make like a dedicated video trying this out, really going into the details, explaining everything in depth to you guys, and doing a solid wear test because it just seems like something I would really possibly enjoy for every day. So it's actually this new foundation from Urban Decay. It's called the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Moisturizer. It's supposed to have a medium coverage. It claims that you can have up to a 24-hour wear, which is pretty solid. It also contains kombucha filtrate and marula oil. I'm really excited to test this out. It comes in 12 different shades, and the shade range actually looks pretty good, even though there's not that many shades. Like 12 isn't crazy. The range itself is pretty great in my opinion, especially if it's more of like a flexible formula where it's more of a sheer to medium coverage. Maybe, you know, it will work across a lot of skin tones. We'll see. They sent me one shade. They sent me 20 fair, so I'm hoping that this is my shade. If not, we will just wear it anyway and see how, you know, the formula works. But let me share with you guys what this claims to do. So it says it has a flexible formula fit for you. It's supposed to boost your skin's natural hydration up to 30%. It's also a vegan formula. Let me show you guys the packaging as well. I actually think the packaging is so pretty. It kind of has like this blue ombre kind of drip to it. It almost looks like paint is coming down at the top, which I think is really pretty. The detail on it is like gold, well, almost like a rose gold. I don't know. It's kind of a mix between gold and rose gold. The packaging itself is plastic, and then you have a little squeezy tube type applicator, so it's supposed to be really travel friendly as well. It says it's for all skin types and is non-comedogenic, which means it's not supposed to clog your pores. It says it also minimizes pores and imperfections with a smooth blurring effect while evening skin tone and texture. So hopefully you get the point based off of those things that they claim. It's supposed to be dewy and hydrating, but also long wearing, which is why I think I'm so intrigued by it, because usually a dewy foundation or a tinted hydrator type product doesn't always have the longevity, so that's part of the reason why I want to try this out. I will show you guys really quickly a swatch of the shade on the back of my hand so you guys can see how it looks in natural light. Again, this is the shade 20 Fair. It's what I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of this on the back of my hand. I don't really know how much to use, so I'm going to start off with just a smaller amount and we'll go from there. We can always add more. I'm starting off with about that much on the skin. I always use a brush and a sponge when it comes to foundations, so I'm going to start out with a brush. I am going to show you guys how it looks on one half of the face though. So I'm going to start just blending this out from the center of the face, moving outward. I will say it probably is a little bit light. I don't know. No, I think it'll work for me. All right, so I'm just taking that and covering the left side of my face so that we can get a good feel for how this looks. I will say I really like the coverage. You can tell that it gives good coverage, but it's not too intense. It definitely evened out my skin tone though. I'm just going to quickly go over this with my sponge. That's how I always apply every foundation. Okay, so there's both sides of my face. Here is my face without. Obviously, I didn't put any primer on. I just, you know, applied it right on top of the skincare that I put on earlier today. I like to do that when trying out a new foundation, just so I know it's the foundation wearing, not a primer helping it out. You can still see my skin through it, but it's definitely significantly more even toned on this side. I also feel like the glow is still there, just like it is on the side where I just have my skincare. You can still see the glow there. It's almost like the same intensity of glow, and so I feel like it looks pretty natural. What do you guys think? I would love to hear your feedback based off of your first impressions. I do feel like there is a little bit of smoothing happening here, but it's not like a full coverage type of pore smoothing, if that makes sense. It's a very natural, subtle smoothing of the pores right here, and you can kind of even see my pores. This is where my pores are the largest. You can kind of see them right here, and you can kind of see how they're still visible, but a lot more hidden, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more, and we're going to go ahead and apply this onto the other side of the face. I feel like it actually oxidized just a little bit because upon application it seems a little bit too light, but once it dried down, I think the shade is actually a perfect match for me. So again, I'm just using the brush to initially just spread out the product, and then I always like to use a sponge afterward. I know a lot of people when they try out foundations, they like to do one side with a brush and one side with a sponge. I used to do that, but honestly, I use a brush and a sponge every single time I wear foundation. So it's actually more helpful for me to figure out how I like a foundation by applying it the way I would normally apply any sort of complexion product. Okay, I'm just gonna press that into the skin with that same sponge. Okay, so now that that's blended out, I'm gonna show you guys a before and after of my clean skin, and then just barely applying this so you can see the difference side by side. You can see the coverage and like the finish as well. Just by looking at it, I really do already love the coverage and the finish. It doesn't seem to be like sitting on top of the skin. I will say it looks like it's kind of starting to bunch up around the nose, which is pretty typical for a lot of foundations for me. That's the only area that it looks like I'm wearing a foundation though. Everywhere else, it just seems to be part of my skin, which I really like. I like how you can still see parts of my imperfections through the foundation, because for an everyday product, that is kind of what I've been looking for. You guys know, or if you don't know, I've been trying to find products for everyday that just don't hide my skin as much, if that makes sense. And I feel like this is a perfect balance because I still do love coverage. I still want to even out my skin tone, but I want it to look like myself. I don't want people to think like, oh, look at the foundation she's wearing. I want people to say like, wow, your skin looks nice. And I feel like that's one of those products. I'm gonna go ahead and just do my makeup the way I would normally do the rest of my makeup. I'll run through things with you guys really quickly, just so you know what I'm using. I'm gonna start off with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I'm only gonna apply this underneath the eyes today because I really want to make sure I'm leaving as much room as possible for the foundation to really show what it's doing. The powder I'm gonna use is the xoxo Everyday Vacay powder. I'm just super familiar with this one right now, so I'm trying to use all the products that I've been wearing on almost like a daily basis so I can really get a good feel for the foundation later. So I'm just gonna set the under eyes and the T-zone with this, and then I'll take a fluffier brush and set the outside of the face with this as well. Next, I'm gonna warm up the complexion with a little bit of my Fenty Beauty bronzer. Then I'm gonna take a matte blush. Today I'm wanting to use the Burt's Bees blush in the shade Shy Pink. I'm wanting to use like a matte blush today so I can really see the glow of this foundation throughout the day. So I'm gonna add that to the cheeks. I'm gonna be filling in my brows with the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 4. All right, now that brows are on, I'm gonna go back into my bronzer, and I'm taking a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and I'm just gonna kind of create a little bit of definition in the crease using the bronzer. I'm also gonna run that along the lower lash line as well. I'm gonna make sure that everything looks cohesive by taking just a little bit of the blush we were using and applying that into the crease as well, just so we have some of those pink tones in there. I'm going to take a flat brush and dip into my Bodyography glitter pigment in the shade Aura Glow. I'm going to kind of press this into the brush, and then I'm going to spray the brush with a little bit of my Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid. I normally apply shadow along the lower lash line, but I think I'm just going to leave the purple on the top lid. I'm going to go ahead and apply some mascara. Today I'm going to use my Bite Beauty Upswing mascara and just apply this to the top and bottom lashes. I got a little bit of mascara on the eyelid, so I'm just going to wait for that to dry, and I'll do my lips. So I'm going to take one of the new Persona Cosmetics lip liners. I'm going to use the shade Dusk, which is a beautiful pink, and I'm just going to line and fill in the lips with this. And then I'm going to take the Persona Cosmetics lip gloss in the shade Pink and just apply that right on top. All right, now that the lips are on, I feel like I could use a little more blush, so I'm going to go back into my Burt's Bees Shy Pink blush and just apply a bit more. And I also feel like I could use a little bit more of that same pink color on the eyelid. So I'm going to add a tiny bit more on this outer portion. I'm going to brush off the mascara marks. And I'm just going to press over the powder one more time to make sure it's nice and blended. I'm not going to use a setting spray today because I want to make sure that I can see how the foundation is wearing. There was a suggestion on their website though, I'm looking for a small brush, here we go, to use the Urban Decay All Nighter powder in the T-zone if you get an oily T-zone, which I definitely do. So I'm just gonna apply a tiny bit of this in the areas where I always get oily. And then let's apply some brow gel. I'm just gonna use my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Gel to lock my brows into place. I originally wasn't gonna put highlighter on, but I just want a tiny bit. I'm gonna take this from an Hourglass palette. This is an older one. I don't think this exists anymore, but I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of highlight just on the very high points of my face. I'm also gonna take that same highlight and apply it in the inner corner of the eye. Okay, so makeup is on. I'm gonna start doing my wear test now. Overall, I feel like everything applied super nicely on top of this foundation. Now, normally I would spray this with a setting spray, but again, I wanna really see how this lasts on its own. I feel like I still get that really nice glowy finish, but it's kind of more of a satin now that I've set the entire thing with powder. So we'll see how it wears throughout the day. If it gets more dewy, I'm kind of expecting it to get a little bit more dewy since that's what it claims to be, is a hydrating foundation. I will show you guys right here the before and after from my freshly applied foundation to my makeup all the way done, so you can see how the finish changed after applying all my other products. So then we'll do a wear test and we'll see and compare the difference from my foundation now and how my makeup looks now to the end of the night. So let's start. It's currently 3:10 p.m. so I'm going to be wearing this for as long as I possibly can. Obviously, the bottle claims that it has up to a 24-hour finish, but I've never worn a foundation for 24 hours. So I'll try to get a pretty solid amount of time in, but it won't be 24 hours, and hopefully things hold up. I love how it feels on my face. It lived up to my expectations as far as what I thought the finish would be, and even the coverage I'm really excited about. So I feel like I'm going into this really liking the foundation, but obviously the wear test is like the most important, you know? A lot of foundations can look good upon application, but it's about how they look throughout the day that really matters. So I will see you guys in a little bit for my very first check-in, and I'll continue to update you on how this wears for the rest of the night. Okay, I'm hoping that this works. I recently got a new phone, and every time I've done like these natural light check-ins with my new phone, when I upload it to my computer, it goes completely overexposed. So it looks normal as I'm filming this, but hopefully it's not too overexposed when you guys see it. Here is what everything looks like up close in natural light. Again, I really like how it looks. Things look really smooth. It feels lightweight on the skin, so I'm really excited overall. I'm gonna keep wearing this for a few more hours, and I will get back to you as far as if anything changes. But as of now, my hopes are high for this foundation. So here's what things are looking like, and I will see you guys in a little bit for my next check-in. Okay, so it's currently 8:30 p.m., so I've been wearing this for over 5 hours. Guys, everything looks so good. Like, honestly, I don't even think I would have needed to put that mattifying powder in the T-zone because there's not one single sign of oil on the tip of my nose, which at this point usually there is. So I'm really loving how it looks. I mean, the forehead, you can see a little bit of my natural oils coming through, but I don't mind that. I think that actually looks pretty fresh. So overall, I'm really excited 5 hours in. I'm gonna try to wear this for at least 3 more hours to give you a final update. But even my husband complimented me on my foundation, so that's always a good sign. Yeah, this is what we're looking like 5 hours in. Also, I don't know if it's the foundation or the other products, but the other products have really stayed so beautifully on top of the foundation. Like, my blush has not faded one bit, so also something to maybe point out. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit for my final check-in. All right, you guys, so it is currently 11:58 p.m., so almost midnight, which means I've been wearing this foundation for about 9 hours now. Overall, I'm super impressed by this foundation. I feel like there's definitely quite a bit of separating around the nose, but it didn't look this bad until about the last hour. We've got to completely ignore like the bottom of my nose because I totally wiped that off myself. Other than that area, which honestly I was touching quite a bit today, I feel like it held up so well, and it didn't start to get oily or strange literally until the last hour or so, and even then I feel like it's not even that bad at all. Like, my forehead still looks the same that it did at 8 p.m., which is 4 hours ago. I'm overall really excited about this foundation. I do feel like I will continue to use it and reach for it. I don't know about the 24-hour claim, but I do feel like this would be worth trying, and I feel like it would be something that could work for a lot of different skin types. And the thing that made me think that is because after applying this mattifying powder in the T-zone, it did not start getting oily for hours. And I still feel like the oils on the tip of my nose are being controlled. So if you have oily skin and you use a more mattifying setting powder, I still feel like you could probably get away with it the same way way that I did. So again, I normally get oily in just the T-zone and I didn't mattify the sides of the face, but even the sides of the face I feel have stayed pretty balanced. So I'm really excited about this. It definitely lived up to my expectations. I mean, you guys tell me. I will put a side by side right here from my makeup being freshly applied to now being 9 hours later. And you guys can tell me in the comments like what you think about it, whether you think it wore well on me or not. I feel like it's pretty typical for me to get some separation around the nose area, but I didn't touch up at all either, which is something that I would normally do if I were to wear a foundation for 9 hours. I would definitely check up on my makeup and at least tap out the edges or use some sort of a powder to kind of refresh the T-zone, if that makes sense. So for being untouched for 9 hours, I'm super impressed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. I would love to know if this is something that you guys think you might try out. Leave a comment down below. I love chatting with you guys. Or if you've already tried this, I want to know if you guys feel the same about this. Has it worked for you the way that it worked for me? I definitely feel like it's going to stay front and center on my desk. I'm excited to wear it again, which really says something, especially since there's so many new makeup launches all the time. When something goes immediately to my filming desk, you know it's good. So I'm really excited about it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber, but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe, and you'll get a notification every single time I post. I'd love to know what else you guys want to see me try out. Are there other new foundations that you want to see me test? Foundations are one of my favorite things to try out, and it's one of the things that I still collect the most. I always am looking for good new foundations, even though I already have so many. And this one definitely passed the test for me. So thumbs up for me on this for now. But yeah, tell me if there's any other foundations you'd like to see me try. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.